Hey guys, what is up, Camping Camper Pants? And today I'm coming at you with a game of, well, a bunch of games of Infected actually. I didn't know how long this commentary would be, so I have like 40 minutes of gameplay saved up. I don't think that this commentary is going to take that long, and I'll just cut off the end there. But you can see me derping around. This is me trying to turn on my capture card and play at the same time. So that's what that was in the beginning. Just some interesting stuff in here. Hang on a second. Water. I got my trusty water bottle next to me. Oh, okay. So, today's topic is going to be about high school, and you see that sign in front of me that everyone will jump off the end here and die on. I love joking that because every time that happens, I'm like, "Careful, that sign's sharp," as a joke. But yeah, I got goldfish too. Goldfish and water, perfect for making commentaries. Hang on a second. All right, so. Today's commentary is going to be about stories from high school. Well, maybe not stories, like particular incidents from high school, but I'll tell you about a few stories of shit that happened while I was in high school. I'll go through the years, what I was like. I don't remember the chronological order of everything, but I'll do my best to remember for you guys, and it should be an interesting commentary. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hang on, some more water. Again, I don't know how long this commentary is going to be, so you might want to get some popcorn and settle in. Blanket. So, let's see. Starting off, I was a freshman, and I came into high school when I was 14, 15. Yeah, 14. So, that was 4 years ago. Well, probably 5 at this point. And over the summer, I knew we needed to, or I knew we were doing stuff for marching band, but I got into that like late because the week that everyone would be going to quote unquote band camp, which is where everyone goes to the high school for a week and practices and learns a lot of the routine, I was away on vacation with my parents. So, what ended up happening is I showed up to school on the first day, and all the teachers assigned shitload of homework, which, for now was actually pretty light, but for an 8th grader transitioning into high school, it was a lot of work. So, yeah. And so I talked to my band teacher. I said, yeah, I really wanted to join marching band. I was interested in that. Like, I know it started, and I know it's kind of late for that, but is there any way I could get involved in any way? And he said, well, what section do you typically play in? And I said, percussion. It's like, well, I don't think we can fit you into marching percussion, but we could probably put you in the pit. So, he just says, show up tonight, practices tonight. It was a Tuesday. And you can, see what pit's all about, and we'll get you something to do. So I show up, and the first thing they're doing is like, are you our pit guy? And I'm like, well, yeah, kinda. And they're like, okay, well, this is what the pit does. And they show me a bunch of people playing on the marimbas and shit, which are big keyboard instruments. And they're like, well, you're going to eventually be doing that. And I'm like, well, seriously? I have no idea how to play the marimba. I've mostly just, been playing snare drum, bass drum, cymbals and shit. Timpanis. But, it basically got me involved. Within like 2 weeks, they wrote up a piece of music that I could play. Mostly for cymbals and drum pieces. And that was how I joined the marching band. Very unorthodox. But I got a lot of slack for not coming to band camp. And turns out the next year I also couldn't go because my parents also planned a vacation on the same week. And they're not going to let me stay at home because they're just idiots. And due to poor planning, I couldn't go to band camp again. And so at the end of that year, I got the I Don't Need Band Camp Award, which they especially made for me. But anyway, freshman year went, without incident. I remember I took biology and I took world history. And biology was okay. I'm not much of a fan of that. And world history was terrible. But a funny story from world history is we always, in every single class, which was really stupid, we always had to write essays at some point. They called it like writing boot camp. And it happened some point in the spring. More water. But at some point in the spring, we were all writing these papers, and if you've ever lived in New Jersey or, taken any of these writing things, they grade them on a scale of 1 to 6, these papers. And as we got ours back one day, and excuse me, burps. But we got ours back, and mine was a 6. I'm like, oh, that's nice. You know, 6s are hard to get. 5 is the average. You know, 4, something in that range. So apparently, I had written an exceptional paper. Now, the teacher's like, okay, now I'm gonna hand back an example of someone who got a 6, and I'm like, oh, well, who else got a 6? And so I get this sheet, and it's just like my paper photocopied 150 times, and she shows this to all her classes. And of course, I'm sitting next to a friend named Dorian. Dorian, yeah, that's his name. This guy Obama's lagging was following me around. It was really fucking annoying. But anyway, I was sitting next to Dorian, and I look at my papers and I start laughing, and he's like, "What?" And I show him my copy and then the photocopies and how they're all mine, and he just starts laughing his ass off too. So it was funny. But what ended up happening is, like, at some point later in the class, a teacher meant something like, "These papers are good, but you have to kind of make them legible." And then, like, everybody in the entire class all at once is, yeah, this handwriting sucks. And again, no one else knew that it was actually my paper, so me and my friend Dorian just started laughing our asses off a lot again. So that was, you know, the typical freshman debauchery that we went through. Not much. I had a girlfriend through freshman and sophomore year that I actually got together with in middle school. But that relationship didn't go very far, and that kind of ended badly the summer of sophomore year. Freshman year. Freshman year, for over the summer, I spent 2 weeks as a volunteer camp counselor. And that was, you know, not bad, but again, I looked really extremely young for my age. Like, when I was a freshman, you could have thought I was a 7th grader or something really young. I don't remember, I didn't exactly document it. But, I was told that a few of the counselors didn't actually like me because they thought it was like a kid running the camp, and so there's this one specific counselor, and she was a real bitch. Like, no matter what I do, she'd always say, "You're wrong. You're doing it wrong." Like even a cartwheel. At some point during the summer, I did a cartwheel, and she insulted me for it. And I'm thinking, wow, you're a really negative person. And I ended up talking to a bunch of the other counselors about it. And one said she'd talk to her. One of the guys said he'd talk to her, but yeah, she turned out to be a real bitch, and I just stopped talking to her. And what really sucked is after the 2 week of being a volunteer counselor was over, I had to go back to being a camper at this camp. And I got a shit from a bunch of the kids that would be, you know, horsing around, and that I'd have to, you know, punish them and tell the counselors to not let them go in the pool. Like, because the punishment at this camp was pool time off. Like, that's a big issue. Like, God forbid you can't go in the pool. But that was the punishment. And so I had to deal with shit from these kids who I had to take pool time off with, and all of a sudden I'm a camper again, and they're coming and, you know, doing shit to me. It wasn't the worst experience of my life. Most of the time I was able to keep it under wraps. I could still talk to the counselors, but it's kind of, you know, weird going from... It's like one day your teacher all of a sudden becomes your classmate. You know, wouldn't you want to get back at her for all, like, the shitty assignments and homework? Yeah, it's rough. Or it was rough. And sophomore year rolled around, and, you know, sophomore year wasn't too bad in the beginning. Sophomore year started out like at the sophomore year just picked up where freshman year's momentum left off, right? Freshman year went really fast, so sophomore year, it was the year of the music department's trip, and we went to Chicago. So that was ridiculous. It was an 8-hour bus trip too. They wouldn't even let us take planes, so we took a bus ride out to Chicago, and that was pretty horrible. This is towards the end of the year also. But yeah, bus ride out to Chicago, not fun. Every time we stopped, they'd give us like $7 and go buy something from McDonald's. And that was what we did. And this Obama be lagging guy still following me around. Whatever. So that was the end of that story. I get a nice double kill here for the kill cam. You'll see. But yeah, that's that story. Here it comes, here it comes. Yeah. Alright, so, So the end of sophomore year rolls around. Pretty uneventful. Classes like chemistry. Chemistry was awful, and I just really hated chemistry. It's not fun for me. Um, so, so the end of the year rolls around, and we play this graduation band for the school. We play in this graduation band, so it's like kind of like the farewell band to all the seniors, and we always would practice for it in regular band class. I am more water, and this was kind of a rough point in my life, but we were playing the piece, and I had the timpani piece in my folder, and I had two best friends at the time, and one of them, I was on the timpani ready to play, and one of them came up to me and was like, "Dude, I want the timpani piece. Let me play it." And I'm like, "What?" Because typically the way these pieces worked is you're given a part, you're assigned to play it, and then you play it for the duration of the whole time. But he's coming up to me and like, "Give it to me. Let me play it instead." And I'm like, "What? No. I got this piece. I'm playing it." And so it turned into like this big argument. But long story short, like he said something to the effect of, "You suck. You're not destined to play the timpani," and basically ended up stealing it out of my music folder. And so he shared it with another best friend of mine at the time, and just took it. And the reason that we kind of had this falling out is because when I got into marching band, I ended up in the pit, but they ended up in regular drumline, and that's where I ended up wanting to be, but I didn't get to be. And there's this kind of friction between battery percussion and standing percussion, which was the pit. Ooh, fucking lag. Hang on a second. Alright, yeah, that was weird. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, I'll continue. So that kind of led to a falling out, and so over the summer I kind of got into a real funk. I ended up breaking up with my girlfriend, not in the best way. It's pretty, not good. But yeah. See, one of the problems with that was we went to different high schools, and that was very hard to deal with at times. So, although I can't really talk because I kind of got upset with my current girlfriend for breaking up with me because it was a long distance relationship, so I can't really talk there. But we went to middle school together, and then in high school we went to different locations, and I wasn't seeing her as often, so I guess that was just something I'm not used to. And so I was pretty in a funk the whole summer. I ended up working at McDonald's that summer at some point. Well, for most of it. That was before I started hating it, so life was kind of down, but kind of okay at this point. Like, I had a job, I had money coming in, I wasn't dying. I was just alienated by my two best friends, and I broke up with my girlfriend. So it's like things are going okay in terms of not my social life. Speaking of my social life, I'd have to say in high school I was, considered to be a social outcast. Not like that one guy that sits in the corner and talks to himself and his mother is his best friend. No, we had one of those. I was not him. But I had a few good friends and not a lot of general friends, if you know what I mean. So that's kind of where I stood in high school, but it's a whole different ballgame when you come to college. When you leave high school and you go somewhere else, like all of a sudden you choose to go somewhere where everybody is, a nerd or a social whatever that you are, and all of a sudden you're not the odd man out. So you can like make yourself part of the group. It's just about associating yourself with the right people. Oh man, that was quite a fail right there. Excuse me. Not sure why I'm so gassy. But anyway, so that's where I kind of stood in terms of social in high school. And so summer of sophomore year passed without incident. Then junior year came. And junior year, the start of it was kind of rough. Over the summer, my one friend who kind of stole the piece from me, I told him off. And I really fucking let him have it. I'm like, I said, like, why would you do this to me? I kind of, said, like, what the hell is your problem? And he told me to assess the situation more maturely. and I sent him a text back. It's like, you told me that I suck at the timpani, that I'm not destined to play it, and to fuck off. How am I not assessing this maturely? And we didn't speak for, it gotta be a month after that. And then a month later, we were up at my cousin's house, and he texted me like an apology. And about a month after that, the other friend who he kind of conspired with. Oh, sorry about that. That was kind of, yeah. But the other friend that he conspired with, quote unquote, he was kind of ripping on me. So, like, I had to, like, I basically went off on him, too. I told him, this other guy, he had to apologize for you for the way that you act, because he understands what an immature douchebag you are. And then I didn't talk to him for the longest time, and I just, we stopped talking, but I still was good friends with the other guy. So that's where that stood. And then about a month later, a guy that I knew from middle school who moved out to Utah, I think, in the 7th grade, shot himself in the head. And it's not something to laugh about. I shouldn't be. I didn't think it was funny at the time. I was really depressed at the time, and I actually started thinking a lot about mortality and becoming this like really depressed kid. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I didn't turn into like an emo or anything. I was just started thinking a lot about mortality, and I became this really down kid. Freshman and sophomore year, I had a really long haircut. And the agreement was if I joined marching band, I could grow my hair as long as I want, and so I grew it out really, really long. But sophomore year, I decided to cut my hair again, and so yeah, that's what that happened. And then the rest of that year was kind of just like repairing relationships with my friends. I was applying to be section leader for the pit next year. That never panned out, so that's fine. Let's see, what else like junior year? Like junior year was just like the fixing of sophomore year. Like everything started to get better. I went back to the summer camp that summer to work as a full-time counselor for the entire 7 or 8 weeks. I forget what it was. Like technically the title was counselor in training, but it was a better paycheck than McDonald's, so I didn't care. And so that's what I did for that while. It was horrible hours, and I worked it out to something like $3 an hour, but it was one of those religious camps, and so it's like, you're supposed to be working for God, and I'm like, no, I'm working for money currently, actually. But it's either pretend you are or get fired, so that's the options I had. Unfortunately. Yes, the world still comes to that. So, I worked at that camp most of the time. I spent some weekends going back to McDonald's because I'm still employed there. Like, they haven't fired me. I haven't quit. I'm just at college, so they can't put me on the schedule. And that's how that works. So for the most part, it was work at this camp, summer job at McDonald's on weekends, and I'd go to karate class every Thursday night because Tuesday was just busy. I don't want to get into that. So that was my summer junior year. Senior year comes around, and man, what can I say about senior year? Senior year, I was pretty outgoing. I, still in that social class of small group of good friends, but excuse me. And I'm out of water. So I was still in that group of small kids, just close friends, but I wasn't as socially insecure. I didn't care so much about what other people think, and that's the good way to deal with it. Not much. I didn't let much bother me. I fought with my parents a shitload because I had quote unquote senioritis, little life, and then this guy gets me. What a commando lunch. Yeah, but senior year was me, applying for colleges in September and getting accepted to colleges before Thanksgiving. In fact, I got accepted to my #1 college about halfway through November, so I basically was set, and senioritis kicked in immediately. I had the best English teacher of my life, even though I didn't enjoy English classes. I actually had one of the best teachers of my life in English that year. and I still email him. He's a fantastic guy, fantastic teacher, and I've actually talked about him in my my past videos, which was college versus high school. Feel free to go check that one out. So yeah, that was one of the good things. A lot of senior year was me, wanting to be more independent from home and parents, and really wanting to get out of the house. And we butted heads a lot. And just like letting you know, if you guys are going through any of this, like trust me, it is normal. You're gonna argue with your parents. You're gonna want to have some sort of independence that they're not ready to give you. I mean, it's natural. It happens. There's not much you can do about it. It's unfortunate, but it's the fact. Um, and so much I can really say about the rest of the year. But I played chess a lot. I hung out with friends a lot. I stopped caring about schoolwork a lot. It may seem really tempting. I mean, a lot of people do end up doing it, but if you guys don't, it's going to be a lot better for you in the long run. In terms of arguing with my parents, it became about like very pointless shit. I got kicked out of the house quite a few times. There's another sign is sharp kind of moments where the guy jumps on the sign and dies. But just what can I say about this? It became me wanting to not do shit my parents told me, because like it almost seemed like they were telling me to do shit when they were too lazy to. Like my dad telling me to take out the trash while he's sitting on the couch watching TV when I'm doing something for myself. Like he doesn't want to do it, and so he's gonna stop what I'm doing instead of stop what he's doing. And I didn't think that was fair, and I spoke out against that a lot. And that's the kind of stupid shit that got me kicked out of the house a few times. Most of the time, I just go sit in the back of my dad's car, and since I wore a lot of black shirts and jeans, I could just blend in with the seating. Like, it was dark enough out. Like, when I got kicked out of the house, it was like 7 o'clock at night, 8 o'clock at night. So I could, for the most part, just blend in with the back seat. And, one of the times, I remember he actually did come outside and look in the back window of his car, and he didn't see me. So I was doing my best not to laugh at him, actually. But yeah, that's how that story went. Then the summer of senior year came, and this is before right before I'm about to move out and go to college. This was a pretty nothing summer, and I'd like to think that was a good thing. Like, I spent minimalistic hours working at McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with that. What else did I spent a lot of time playing Xbox. I met my clan. Like, I joined my clan about like 2 years ago, and how that worked was I was playing Ground War, and I ended up as they were playing with 8 people, and I ended up as the 9th. And this was like 2 years ago, before we had the massive amount of people we have now. But they ended up backing out, picking me up, and I joined from there on out. So I spent a lot of time playing with them. I absolutely destroyed my sleep schedule. Like, it ended up me going to sleep at 7 or 8 in the morning and waking up at 3 in the afternoon. Just a horrible sleep cycle. At the end, I ended up trying to like flip it all around and just going like to sleep later and later in the day until it was normal again. Probably not the healthiest thing to do, but whatever. What else? And then I think that's about it. And then I just went to college, and here I am, the campy you know and love. Well, maybe not love, but the campy you know. Although I can't say that I'm completely shaped by just what happened in high school. I mean, I feel like a lot's changed between now and then. So, yeah, that's the story of my high school life. Have fun comparing this to your own lives. See what's similar. See what's different. If you want any advice from me, feel free to leave a comment. Send me an inbox message. I'll be happy to respond. Leave a like, sub, favorite. Send this out on Twitter. Find me on Twitter. Find me on Facebook. Search Camping with Camperman. You'll find me. And I'm here for anything you guys need, and it works out perfectly because the game just ended, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. Leave a like, and I'll see you guys later. Take it easy. Camper Pants out. Peace.